All right. I'm pleased to have Nathi. Welcome, Nathi, to the podcast.
Thank you, man, for having me. And whoever's going to hear this podcast. So, yeah.
Sure. I'm glad because when I just saw you, didn't give you a chance to think about anything, and I think maybe this is just a warning to anyone else who's going to be listening to this podcast. Chances are, if I see you, I'm going to tell you to come to the podcast.
Yeah, I feel like it's an ambush.
Yeah, it is. It was an ambush because I think that's part of my work. I need to tell people, I need to meet interesting people and tell them, hey guys, please tell us what you do and just explain in detail and all those stuff. So, part of the people that I've hijacked.
No, but it's okay, man. It's okay. No problem.
Thank you so much for honoring the invite. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think just introduce yourself to the listeners.
So you want me to be formal about this, where I come from?
I mean, you can just touch on anything and then just explain what you do and all the stuff.
All right. Where do I begin? Let's say the beginning. Yeah, man. I was born and raised in Mpumalanga, and then to be precisely, Nelspruit, and Nelspruit, which is a small village somewhere in Nelspruit called Makoko. That's where I did my high schooling till grade 12. Then from then I decided, let me explore. Let me see what life can take me. And then I made a turn this side in Western Cape. I think that's a long story short. Then I decided to study mechanical engineering.
Sure.
Which was, I don't know, it was very, very tough. Very, very tough, man. But and then at the end, completed. It was not an easy road.
Sure.
I must say.
I mean, like that's it's not a story for everyone, but we do have people who have went through that, and I mean, like I'm part of those people. And I actually had a conversation about that with one of my friends. That it's a 3-year course, but you're finishing in 5 years. Yeah. I mean, like there's so many things that come up.
Man, I've got a doctorate there.
Definitely.
10 years there.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, I must say, if you do mechanical engineering, I don't know, maybe other universities or technicons, but if you do it at CPUT, I think you must also have that heart and say, you know what, just in case I push it to 2 years extra, it's fine. That's what happened. But I completed. I don't even recall those times anymore.
Sure.
But I can still encourage people to go and do it. I think now things have changed. New lectures,
advanced diploma,
exactly. So also, what can I say? People, they have knowledge now about these courses that we are doing. As we just went there, I think we just wanted to see what's going to happen. And then eventually you learn and see, okay, so this is how it goes. And then, but if you look at the younger generation, I'm still part of it, by the way, but they have more knowledge, they research, they know these courses, they know these subjects. Before they even go there, they already have a clue of what's happening. So I don't think they struggle that much.
And then what was the most difficult thing about mechanical engineering for you? Maybe if just to give a warning to someone who's maybe listening, that maybe there's some sort of things that you can give a word of wisdom that, okay, maybe try doing this, don't do things the way that I did.
I think YouTube. I was using it in the wrong way. Because I'll just watch music. But later on, I realized that this thing is a weapon.
Distraction,
I'm telling you, all you need to know is how to search. Go to that search engine, search exactly what you are looking for. I'm telling you, man, whatever we're doing here or whatever is in that book of called Mechanics of Machines, everyone has went through that book. They've seen, they know all those solutions that are there. If you're trying to understand it, you can just punch that thing on YouTube. I'm telling you, man, something's going to pop up.
Sure.
If not the same, it's going to be something similar. So you will have an idea of what's happening. Okay. So for me, I saw that I should have started earlier with YouTube searching.
Oh, so you're saying that you used YouTube to understand concepts?
Exactly.
Okay.
Because in a lecture, I would say maybe 20% you'll grab what's happening there.
Okay.
Yeah. So you just need to say, okay, from here, what do I do next? You open that textbook, you see that it's not helping here.
Yeah.
But if you go to YouTube, I'm telling you, man, maybe you might even finish that course in record time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're trying to look, there are people who can use that textbook and try as much to understand, and then maybe they do come up with their own way of understanding, and they come right. But for me, I took time to understand what was happening in that book.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I think you learn by corrections, and sometimes corrections means you failed. And in fact, no, if you have that correction, that means you failed. So I've learned with that. So I guess if you go to YouTube, even if you're just a first class, write down whatever they are saying in class, go to YouTube, search.
And then just go through the notes.
You will get something.
And you're going to be finding Indian teachers there.
Yeah. Look, it's sometimes the language can be a problem.
Yeah.
But just a video, you see what that person is doing, trying to follow, because they write in steps. Yeah. Then you try to follow, see what's happening. You're most likely to come right. But to be honest with you, mostly it's Indian people. Those guys are
brilliant.
Very, very brilliant.
I think I like that because with us, I think our generation, we used YouTube for listening to music as we were busy trying to do questions.
Exactly. That's what I did, to be honest with you.
Instead of actually going into class on YouTube and just dissect the notes that were given by your lecturer at that time. I think I like that. And then what is it that you liked about the environment of CPUT yourself? Or maybe instead of maybe putting a label CPUT, maybe what did you like about your varsity years?
I think the lessons, the responsibilities that come out from varsity. Not to say to discredit people who didn't have a chance to go to varsity, but you become more responsible when you're there, because I would say 90% of the time you are there alone. And then maybe that 10%, especially those who are from around that particular university, then maybe their folks or families will come there just to see them, how they're doing and how they're coping. But if you are from the north like me, no one's going to fly from there just to see how you're doing. Yeah. And also you try to do things as much as you can by yourself. Because imagine every 2 or 3 days you're trying to call home, tell them, hey, I'm facing that. And you understand that other people, they have their own things. Now that's where you understand the most, that people they have their own things, they're dealing with their own things. There's too much, man. So when you're there, I think that environment, it's a free environment. You can do whatever you want, man. From entertainment, you can do podcasts if you want to.
Sure.
You can go there as an academia person and coming out there as a sport person. Yeah. For instance. So
varsity, what are the things? The rugby.
Exactly. Yeah. People go there because they just want to study something and they had a passion with that particular course, And then when I'm there, every weekend we play soccer, and then you see, hey, seems like there's something.
You're getting into the first team.
So something is developing. Something is going on there, and then you put effort, and then you'll never know who's there, who's watching, and then before you know it, it's your lucky day in that time, and then some scout, and then they call you, hey, can you come and make some trials? And voila, you're there now. You're on TV.
Sure.
Yeah, and then you park that course for until you say, you know what, now I'm ready to go back and finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then talking about parking the course on the side, right? What informed you to go for mechanical engineering? Was it something that you always wanted to do?
Initially, I think in grade 11, to be precise, we used to have those, what do I call it now?
Open day.
Yeah, not really open day as an open day, but you will have 2 or 3 people once in a year. They'll just come and then they explain to you that they've done this course, and but because I would say you're still focusing on finishing grade 11, because grade 11 is also not easy. You don't take those conversations in I wouldn't say seriously, but you have metric to finish at some point, so you need to at least start with grade 11, and then as soon as you're there, then you can cross that bridge. So, but yeah, we used to have people who come there and then they explain that, okay, now we've got this course, we've done this course, or others, they were doing it at the time, and then they will tell you, okay, these are the things that they are facing. But for me, I think to choose this course that I chose, I thought it was more of fixing cars, man, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I thought it's just fixing cars.
Sure.
I have a neighbor who normally fix motorbikes.
Okay.
So he did mechanics. I think they do it in college.
Yeah.
So he did mechanics. So for me, I thought, hey, okay, so mechanics. Hey, I think something similar here. What's happening here? Maybe I might be able to do this. Only to find out, man, mechanical engineering, this course is so vast, man. You come here, there's manufacturing, there's this design, there's welding. Hey, the list is endless, man. People who are dealing, or people who are branching into different industries. Then they'll tell you exactly what's there. So you only know what you know. But hey, man, this it's very, very, very vast.
And then when you got to varsity, did you get shocked about that difference? Like, what shocked you the most?
Look, first year, I think you don't, unless you researched, you did your research thorough, then you're most likely to have a clear understanding of these branches or this industry that I've mentioned already. But for me, as I said, I thought mechanical was more of mechanics. So first year, get into class, we did our practicals, which was welding. Then I thought, okay, something's different. Yeah, maybe I might learn something. I mean, back at home, you've got people who are welding these bucklers. So you already see this is something at least
sure.
Yeah, familiar. But then the more you go, then you see you have AutoCAD. I don't know if you guys did AutoCAD also.
No, electrical department doesn't have AutoCAD, yeah.
You don't have AutoCAD.
Yeah, but I do work with AutoCAD.
There are some drawings.
Yeah.
It's either electrical drawings, for instance. Yeah. So as time goes on, you see you've got drawings and you're thinking, okay, and then where we're going to use this now? I mean, I thought mechanical was fixing. I think welding. I've seen welding. So now, what's going on now? Am I a person who's drawing now? What am I drawing now? Am I architecture or something? But then times goes on, and I'm starting to connect the dots. You see that, okay, so you weld something, and then before you weld that particular item, someone manufactured that item. But how did they just manufacture it? They had dimensions somehow. So someone drew that thing.
Okay, sure.
So you're connecting the dots, and that is just a particular item. That's just a different scenario.
Sure.
And then you have like fluid mechanics.
Sure.
And then you're asking yourself, why are we doing fluid mechanics, for instance? And then now this involves water. I mean, why? Isn't this supposed to be marine things? But at some point, you know that these boats, for instance, or ships. So somehow, this thing needs to travel on water.
Okay.
So someone needs to know how's the dynamics of the water. And then they need to understand this density there. Just like a car will move from the ground. I mean, the ground is rigid enough to carry that car.
Yes.
But what about water?
Yeah.
I mean, even now, I'm still shocked that I can't swim. If you just throw me there, I most probably would drown. But you've got a ship that can carry up to 5,000 tons of this shipment, but it doesn't sink.
Yeah.
So someone did their calculation there. I mean, each and every subject, you just need to break it down. I'm telling you, you'll know why that particular subject was developed. So for me, that's what I experienced. When I'm there, then, I think maybe after third semester, if you're a slow learner like me, then maybe you can connect the dot, and then you say, okay, now I see where this is heading. But if maybe you're a clever student coming from the environment where you're just getting straight A's, then you can just do it first hand and say, oh, okay, now I see this, I see that, I see where it's going.
I think I like how you broke down mechanical engineering now, because even for someone who's listening to this will understand, okay, because I mean, everyone, when they think electrical engineering, they think I'm going to be fixing stove, irons, and even when you go back home, they say that I have a broken iron there, can you please come and fix it? And you realize that at school we're not doing that.
We don't do that. Yeah.
We are busy creating power supplies.
Exactly.
For you guys, you are doing CAD. I know you were welding. There was a time when you did that thing on the door, something like I don't know, where you write your name.
Oh, okay. I think the CNC, where you mean you cut that particular.
I think that gold thing where you write your name. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the things that we're doing when we're in university. So we're not really fixing cars or chemical engineering. I don't know what is the stereotype behind chemical engineers.
One day there will be someone who's from that department. They'll give you that insight of what's happening there.
Sure.
Don't want to be speculating. You only see from the distance.
I was still saying that I actually love how you broke down mechanical engineering in terms of this is what the scope of work when you get there. There's fluid mechanics and how that fluid mix it applies into real life situations. And I think moving on to there, when you finish your degree, right? Maybe we can talk about your in-service training. Your in-service training, did you do it at a company that you wanted to work for, or is it something where you were just applying and then you got the job?
Let's say the first month you will be choosing. Say, no, I just want to go to this specific company. I do not want any other company except that.
Did you have a specific one that you wanted to work for?
Yes.
Okay.
And luckily I landed to that company. So first month, as I was saying, I applied. I said, okay, you know what? I don't know if we can name the brands here.
I think just for the sake of the conversation, let's just name the brand so that at least someone can have an idea.
Okay.
Idea, yeah.
All right. So, I always wanted to be in the marine industry.
Oh, marine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what's so fascinating or what I was thinking at the time, but I always wanted to be in a boat.
Those guys who are extracting oil in the ship, in the sea, man.
Yeah. So the first 2 months, I think, went by. There's still nothing. Third month now, I'm applying everywhere. Hey, fourth month now is tough now.
It's that thing where they know your worth, gang.
Yeah, know your worth, gang.
Yeah.
So when time is going, I see. Look, to be honest with you, in-service training, it's one of those. It's like basically you're looking for a job. It's just that you feel like you're still something is holding you because you can't get your diploma if you're doing diploma at a time without finishing your in-service training.
Sure.
So now you're thinking, hey, time is moving here. I'm done with my subjects, and I just need to finish that in-service training so that I can spread my wings. And maybe, who knows, when I'm done, then there's going to be a lot of those that are opening. So it's I think it's one of a difficult situation when you are at that stage. But I think I got my in-service training. I think, if I'm not mistaken, almost a year without getting an in-service training.
Hectic,
yeah. Almost a year.
Were you doing BTEC? No, you can't do BTEC.
You need to finish your diploma.
Yes, yeah, right.
But before you do that, you need to finish your in-service training. So now you're looking at the time, but look, it's And
then how was that for you? That waiting.
I mean, that waiting, it's it kills you slowly. I don't know if I'm breathing in a right way, but it kills you slowly, softly. Especially when you see others are starting to move, and then you call someone, they tell you, hey man, I got something. Like, hey, why it's like I'm being left out alone here.
Yeah.
So, but if you still have people around you that are still looking, you have hope, and then you say, okay, at least I'm not alone here. So it's I think it helps when you with those people and say, okay, gents, let's group and then let's see what we can do about this thing. You can't be sitting there in your room looking for that thing and then don't communicate with the rest of the group. If I'm not mistaken, I think there was a group.
So you guys created a group where you're looking for jobs.
The group of the candidates that are still out there trying to hunt for jobs.
Yeah, that's actually cool, eh?
Yeah, so it does help. Because, for instance, if you go to that job and then you find out later on they also need more students, then if that person knows that, hey, this man is still looking, then they can refer you to that company. But if you are sitting there isolating yourself, trying to find in service by your own and nothing is coming out, man.
You're bad, though.
Yeah, so to answer your question, it was, I would say it was difficult. Yeah, it was difficult, but for me, not that difficult because I knew that I had some gents that were still looking. So, and I think I have a high tolerance, strength. So nothing doesn't really. I'll say things don't just come and break. I understand that they need to be in that elastic.
Come on,
elastic point before they break. So you can't just begin and you break now. You need to drag. So for me, I was like, nah. I
think. Whilst you were explaining that, you just reminded me of my journey as well.
Yeah.
But mine is just a little bit different. I took over a year to get a job after graduating.
Okay.
Like you said, it kills you slowly. But for me, what happened was I was still on campus, going around looking for jobs. And you know, you wake up in the morning and you sit in front of your laptop and you start applying, sending emails, sending emails
every day,
calling.
Yeah.
And other ones, I'm just trying to explain the journey of looking for a job, and maybe this could be some helpful for someone who's listening. So you wake up in the morning. You look for a job in the morning, you're sending emails, you're making calls. And sometimes I remember the learning curve for me was one person would sound like they're promising. And you stop applying.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they just drop you out of nowhere. You're like, this guy just wasted my time.
Yeah.
I felt like I was making progress. And that's the way the killing you slow happens. Because you're hopeful. Yeah. And then it's like a graph. It goes up and then it comes down. You're like,
now
it's a very huge drop. And for me, I don't know if I would diagnose myself as I would call that depression. But I remember there was a mild headache, which it never went away.
Yeah,
it just comes there. It's like, hey, why am I having this headache? And I don't know. Maybe it was just being stressful at the time. And the reason I'm explaining this is, in our country we have joblessness. We have a high unemployment rate.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So we just want to. I'm saying this so that we can encourage people who are listening to this that, hey guys, if you're looking for a job, never give up. Don't stop applying. And if you can do something, because the one thing that saved me at the time is that I became super involved in SEO or at church. Rather, right? So I was literally everything that needed someone. I was there because sitting in your room, it's also, I don't know if you express the same thing as well, but sitting in your room alone, it gets too long.
It gets to you. At some point.
So I don't know if maybe you had a similar experience, and if you did, maybe you can just expand on that.
Okay. First and foremost, I was lucky because I had some squatters in my room.
Sure.
Yeah, now CPUT can kill me if they hear it. But now I had squatters in my room. So I never experienced that boredom, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Or that feeling of saying, hey, now I'm alone and now this thing is getting to me and I'm busy applying and nothing is coming up. So now I always have people in my room. Yeah, so... but if it happens that you're in a situation whereby you find yourself isolated, I mean, not everyone is talkative or not everyone is, what is this word that I'm looking for now? People who are out there, extrovert, So you can tend to be the person who normally enjoy their space. When you're sitting there, you're on a PC, you feel like, you know what, that's good. But then when you come to the situation whereby now you're facing with a job hunting, for instance, so I say, you just need to know yourself. You can't be alone where you know that when things get hard, you're thinking of other alternatives or taking your life or whatever.
Sure.
So it's you just need to be around people and look, you don't have to be laughing with the people. Just be around there and then you'll never know. I mean, it helps you. By the time you go there, maybe you'll reduce the stress level.
Sure.
So, yeah.
I think I like that solution that being around people helped a lot. And it took away that stress of having to say that I'm looking for a job every day. And hence, I also said that I was going around because the moment you are just alone, it's just a big problem. And then, so you learned on your first job. How was that? And then maybe you can just explain the learning curve on what you were doing and maybe go into detail what you were doing in that company.
Okay. So the sector or the industry, it was oil and gas.
So what you actually wanted to do?
Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah, look, whenever we study so that we can, at least when you in that field, you can make extra bucks. There are people who like to be in an environment where they are in an office, they interact with people via emails, via calls, or you just visit their site. So I would say maybe those are people who are normally into sales, or I don't know if in consulting.
Or consulting, yes.
Yeah, I think that also happened. So that person, I mean, that's what they want. That's what they like. Not to be in overalls, not to be out there in harsh conditions. It's sunny, it's windy, you're out there with oils and everything.
Yeah.
So for my case, I think I like to be out there in that environment, in an open area where the sun, when it's raining, when it's windy. Luckily, so yeah. As a mechanical technician, I would say I've enjoyed being in that space.
So were you out there in the sea, or were you working in an office?
No, it was in an onshore. It was not offshore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in oil and gas, you've got offshore and onshore.
And then can you please just explain that as well, the difference?
Yeah. So the offshore, those are the people who are working in the deep seas. So they I don't know if you've heard or seen an oil rig before.
Oil rig, yes, I've seen.
So normally it will be just situated somewhere in the middle of nowhere in the sea, where they explore the oil well, or So for me, I was onshore. I was not offshore.
Okay.
So onshore basically is on the ground. Yeah. So what they do is you have a pipeline that goes underground from offshore all the way to onshore. That's where they transport the unprocessed oil.
Okay.
From offshore to onshore. Then onshore, you've got all these vessels, heat exchangers, pumps, all this piping, so they can refine it further. So it can become your diesel, it can become your petrol, it can become your waxing as byproducts. So for me, to answer your question, what I was doing there, I was a mechanical technician, which is broken down as under maintenance. Because you have a maintenance technician and you've got mechanical technician. So mine was under the maintenance. So what we did there was maintaining the plant, basically. So you have you are trying to make sure or minimize the downtime of the plant.
Okay.
So what do I mean about that? If you have a plant, or just to make it as
if you are maintaining maybe something.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make something down. that's everyone knows.
Okay.
Let's say, for interesting sake, an airplane.
Okay.
You don't want an airplane to be having a problem up there and then it stops and it goes down.
Sure. Okay.
So you want to make sure you prevent those from happening while it's up there. Because if it stops, it goes down and people die. So in a plant, it stops, they stop making money. So it needs to function, or it needs to work 24 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. So they have shift. As soon as the day shift finish, and then there's going to be night shift. So it was a continuous process. So that's what we're doing, maintaining the plant. Make sure that it doesn't come to a stop. Unless it's specified that now it needs to come to a stop and everything must be opened, and then they need to maintain everything. You understand? Because you can afford to have other parts of the plant down and maintain them while the other parts are working.
I think the best example would have been ESCOM. I'm just thinking of ESCOM.
Yeah. See, now you are controversial. They're going to come back to this. podcast and say, oh, so you're making examples with Eskom.
No, I mean, Eskom really needs help, and it needs engineers like you and me to be able to maintain those stuff. So I guess that's irrelevant.
Yeah. So I mean, if you were to make an example and try to equate it to Eskom, for instance, you don't want Eskom to be down. They can't say, now we are shutting down Eskom, we want to maintain it. Because if they do that, we don't have electricity.
Sure.
So you need to constantly monitor it, make sure you prevent, you don't want anything that's going to hinder that plant. It needs to be working 24/7. So, yeah, man, that's what I was doing from my side, maintaining the plant, as I said, making sure that the pumps are in a good condition, the heat exchangers, compressors, and other pipings. Then you don't want to have leaks. I mean, for instance, if you have a petrol that's leaking from a tank, you know that you are just creating problems. So because that side, it's oil, it's gas, you don't want it to leak.
It's flammable stuff.
Exactly, flammable stuff. If there's a flame, you are bringing the whole plant down. So we are maintaining it, making sure that it's in a proper standard. I won't mention the company I was working.
No worries, man. And then the pressure of that responsibility. Is it something that you got used to as you're working, or it was something which you were like, okay, bring it on?
At first, I remember we went there when things were. It was not that hectic. I mean, it's at the end of the day, not every day things gonna be breaking. I mean, sometimes there'll be a break where you're doing nothing for, I'll say, 3 days max. You're doing nothing. You can be just answering your calls, like admin stuff, basically. So that time, you're still trying to understand what's happening, and then boom, after maybe the 4th day, then they tell you something is malfunctional, something is broken. You need to quickly move. Then now you prepare your work instructions that says exactly what needs to be done, what process needs to be followed, what needs to be isolated, what needs to be taken in consideration, what needs to be assessed. You understand? So when you get to that point, then you see that, so that means you can relax, and then before you know it, something can just happen. Now you need to move from that stationary position, and you just need to quickly move like that. Then, well, it's something minor. It's broken, for instance, in a plant. Then, yes, but you see the movement from stationary to that instant action. Then you tell yourself that, okay, so that means if something big is broken, there's going to be problems.
There's going to be a lot of moving parts.
So now you just need to gauge yourself and say, okay. I mean, you always saying I can work under pressure. Everyone says that. Because you don't know when you're going to apply that. There's a time where you really have to work under pressure. Yeah. But you can't just say, can you work under pressure? Say, no, well, you think about it. Until then, say you have to work under pressure.
Sure.
So, I would say you don't know when you have to work under pressure. But for me, I think I've developed that. Then I started getting to know the industry better. Then I saw that, yes, at some point you are required to work under pressure. And pressure develops. Then you know, okay, now this situation, if it comes like that, I can handle it like this. If this comes, I can handle it like that. Then you can say, safely I can work under pressure.
Nice. I think maybe, okay, let me just ask this question. What was the most, what was the lesson that you got from your in-service training that made you, I'm trying to ask this question very nicely. Let me ask this question again. Right? What is it that you learned when you're doing your in-service training that you feel like it was a crucial into your career development?
Yeah. Before I answer that question, I would say the most difficult thing that you can ever find yourself is leadership or managing people who are older than you.
Sure.
I'm telling you, that's very difficult because as black people or a black child, if I may put it like that, you growing up, you know that there's an elderly person, there's your father, there's your grandfather, there's your grandmother. So the way you do things, it's always respect first. You understand? I mean, even now, as grown as you are, you can't tell one of your elderly family member to say, give me, for instance, sugar. There's a way you'll say, because I see you're close to the sugar, can you please just pass the sugar? Yeah. You can't say, give me that sugar. You know you're going to get hidings for days.
Yeah.
So when you're at work, you need to be able to distinguish that respect from what can I put this? How can I put this? So you as much as you respect the person, you need to understand the mandate.
Put the work.
Yeah, you need to understand that we're all here to work. You understand? So you have instances or scenarios where you see that, look, this person, they've been there longer than you. You are still fresh from school, so the zeal is there. You want to make things happen. You understand?
Sure.
You want to make things happen. You want to build your name. You understand? That person has been there for maybe 20, 15 years. There's little or room for them to show anymore. I mean, they've climbed the ladders. If that person started as artisan, for instance, they made their way, they climbed the ladder. Maybe they are into a foreman position. You can't really tell that person much. But at the end of the day, they've been there longer than you. They compensate now. They do things the way they know how.
But when you get there in a higher position.
Yes, you get there, you are put or you are placed in a managerial position where you need to manage that person. And mind you, that person will be there longer than you. How do you tell you when you're there, treat them as your parents, for instance. How do you tell your parent that, hey, mother or father, don't do this? They'll tell you right away, you know what, I've been here on this earth longer than you.
I've been eating pap for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're there, for me, what taught me or what still teaches me is how to separate that. Because you can still have that sympathy. Say, okay, I see this person. They can even tell you a story that, I started here. I mean, you understand that we all not lucky enough, or others they are privileged. So you get there as you're starting from the bottom, man. Starting from the bottom sometimes means you have to work 3 or 4 times harder than the person who's somewhere at the higher position.
Yeah.
Because you need to climb the ladder. You understand? Or else it's how can I put it? When you use physical or when you're doing physical labor, it's different when you're using your mental or when you're using your mental capacity, if I may put it like that. So when you're in the physical labor, you go home, there's aches everywhere. You understand? But someone who use their mental capacity at work, they're only tired because they've been thinking a lot. They need to have that critical thinking and stuff. So these two people are tired at the end of the day, but different scenarios. The other one is mental, the other one is physical. So I would say physically you suffer the most if you are starting from the bottom. So hence everyone wants to equip themselves so that they can go to a position where they use soft skills. You don't have to be out there literally picking something that is... you understand? Because those things have got economics at some point in your life. You're going to come back and you're going to have problems with your joints and stuff. And I give a shout out to those people who are doing that, because we're not going to be doing the same thing, all of us.
Sure.
Otherwise, nothing's going to be happening. So we all destined or all placed in different positions, I guess, so that we can do different things to make the whole show come together.
Yeah.
So for me, to come back to the question, what I've learned is to know how to lead without disrespecting. So you need to be able to put those two together. Because if you use the leadership style of push, when I'm here, it becomes a problem when you are not here. It's that boss when...
Things work when he's around.
Yeah, when he comes in, everyone shakes, everyone runs, because they're doing it for you, not with you.
Okay.
Yeah. So the leadership is respect that I got while you're doing the mandate. So you need to make sure that the people work with you. Because if they're working for you, bruh, I'm telling you, if you are off sick for 2 days, you come back, the same things that you left, they're still there. Because the people feel like, no, he is our boss. We know. But if he's not here, then we don't do anything. So you must make sure that the people work with you. If you go to industry, try to make that rapport, or try to create that relationship with the people who are working, so that the day you're not there, they can call you and say, we've did this and that and that and that and that on your behalf.
Sure.
When you come back, they say, look, we've done this and that and that. Then you know these people are working with you. If you are not around and you are the person who just push, I'm telling you, others, they can sit on their corner with their phone because you don't see them. Then when you show up, they run and then they pretend as if they are working, because they are working for you.
Sure.
So that's what I got for myself. That's what I've learned so far. That's what I'm still trying to make sure, that it does not matter which position you are at. You stick to that. You are in a good terms.
I've got 2 questions. The leadership style that you're using now, how did you learn it? And the second question would be, if you were to narrate a story of the most difficult time you had, a difficult person who's maybe older, maybe trying to resolve something, and how did you do that?
Yeah, now this is like an interview now. It's no longer a podcast. Yeah. How did I learn that? That's the first question. And the second question is...
Maybe to narrate a story.
I need to narrate a story of what happened, what got heated, and how did I resolve it.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, I think for me, I'll still refer this back to the in-service training. The people never showed me that that's how they do it. But for some reason, I would pick things from different people. And then say, okay, now this person has this personality there, that person has this personality. And then combine, then I make something out for myself. So, for instance, maybe you are a good communicator with people. You are a man of many words, which I am not. And I pick how you do or how you deal with people, for instance. And then I've got other person who handle a situation differently from maybe if I didn't know, I would kind of jump to a wrong lane. And then I pick the right thing. So basically, it's a combination of personalities from different people. And then you need to now to make something from it. And then you create your own personality, who knows, someone can also say, hey, this man, he do things differently, and then they copy your style, and then they add something to it, and then they develop a new character. So for me, that's how I think that's my opinion. That's how I guess I do things, and that's how I learned to get those things from people.
So in a sense, you are flexible and you adjust to different people, and you don't treat the same person the same. Just there's different characters. So
exactly. I mean, you understand that in South Africa or anywhere in the world, you've got white people, you've got colored people, you've got black people. So the way you step on a black person's corner is not the same as you step at the colored person's corner, for instance. So what can create a serious conflict from a black person can be totally different to what can create a conflict to a colored person, for instance. So you need to be able to adjust or read the situation or read the mindset of people. You understand? And also the age as well, because these are things that come to you. It's a package: the religion, age, and the skin color, if I may put it like that, or the race, if I may put it in the right way. So, going back to the question of how did I resolve conflict, to give you a story. I don't know what time you finish this podcast.
No, feel free.
I don't want to be killing your time.
Yeah. No worries, man. Feel free.
Yeah. So we had a shutdown. I don't know if you are familiar with the word.
Yeah.
So in a plant where the plant totally shuts. So we need to maintain each and every item there. So whether it's a bolt must be checked, whether it's a cladding or legging must be checked.
And this is a big project for you guys, right?
It's a big project for me, because we used to have other projects like outages or turnarounds. That's what they call. But that one, it was a big project. So it's in a project we have a milestone, or you have a time frame.
Targets, yeah.
Yeah, targets, time frame. That's what you are given. So you can't be dragging or extending that time frame. So you need to make sure, whether it's raining, it's hot, you need to make sure you stick to that time frame. So I had this other guy. I think he was an artisan. He was a boiler maker. So he was younger than his foreman. So the foreman, for some reason, most of the time, the foremans are always old. It's like a person who's been there for quite some time, and then they put them in a position where they can manage the artisans, the boiler makers, or whatever. So that guy, from, if you can look someone and think, I doubt if this person can do this job, because for some reason, you tend to judge people by just looking at them. And to be honest with you, I think I judged that guy without knowing what he's capable of. So you're judging not the foreman, but you're judging the artisan, right? Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Sure.
So when he started doing the job, and then I took a step back and I saw from the conversation that I started having with him, I knew that he was young, but he had more knowledge than the foreman.
Okay.
And mind you, I've already judged this guy and thinking maybe he doesn't know what he was doing. But there was a point where he was arguing with the foreman. Because if you are in a certain position, you are expected to know everything. which is, it's not always the case. You can be up there as a CEO, but you don't know all the things that are happening. So you need someone who can also teach you that is still an intern. You understand? So that guy, he then had a heated argument or conversation with the foreman, because the foreman wanted a specific process to be done at the time. And then that guy, he said, no, we can't do it like this. But because I've already traced the steps or see how that guy was working, then I knew that he was right. So not necessary to say, I don't want to agree with the foreman, but then I knew that that guy was right. Even though the foreman had more power and experience than that artisan or that boiler maker. Then how I kind of resolved that situation, I remember I called the guy aside because he was burning, was in flames, trying to explain to the foreman that this is not how we do it. This is not how it's done. And the foreman said, no. But then you can see that, okay, now we're losing time because these are two people who are arguing on how this must be done. Then I called that guy on a side. I remember telling him, and I was honest with him, because I told him also, like, look, I'm also placed in a position where I need to manage you, but I don't have enough experience as you. This goes to the foreman as well. Remember, the guy was from Durban. Yeah, now you see something is cooking here. So yeah, I remember the guy was from Durban. So I remember telling him that sometimes you need to trust the people. The person who's doing the job there, you need to trust that person. Let that person do the job. Because...
Are you talking to the foreman or are you talking to the...
I started with the boiler maker. Yes, okay, because sure. I knew that he's talking to a foreman who's his superior. Mm. So there's 100% chance of the foreman winning. You understand? It's like when you're arguing with your parents, there's 100% chances that they're going to win and you're going to lose. It doesn't matter whether you are right. They're going to win.
Sure.
So I started calling I called the boiler maker aside and I told him, look, if this is how you strongly believe that this is how it's done, because you've done it before and you've seen how the results come out from this way. You understand? Then I therefore told him, like, you know what? I don't want us to do things as we're doing it underground. But give me the reasons why you want to do it like that. And then he gave me all the reasons. He said, look, if we don't do it like this, we're going to have a problem with 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I understood all the points that he was mentioning. And then I said, you know what, I'm going to come back to you. Let me also consult to the engineer, because there was an engineer, there was a foreman, technician, and the artisan, and the boiler makers as that hierarchy goes down.
Sure.
So I didn't want to make him feel small, because if you do that, then he's going to do things your way, even if he knows that that's not how he's going to pan out. That is going to go the south. So I told him, look, I'm going to consult, and then I'm going to give the engineer all these points that you've already mentioned. Then he said, okay. And then I said, in the meantime, do something like a prep work or something. You understand? So that whatever we get there, it must not be something that's going to sabotage the job. It must be something at least that was building towards finishing the job. And then I told him, look, I'm going to come back to you. And then I did that. And then the engineer said, okay, no, we can't do it like that. Then, remember now, there's still a foreman who's still lingering, who doesn't know where he is. As far as he knows, is that job cannot go without his input or without his way. So then after getting all that points, then I went to the foreman and I told him, look, I saw that there was fumes at the time. There was alterations and what do you call it now? Arguments.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I told him, look, how are we going to resolve this? I understand that this is how you want the job to be done, but I also consult, and these are the points that I was given. So please feel free to add your points to this. You understand? And then he said, okay, I wanted us to do it this way because I saw the outcomes will be this and that and that. Then from what he saw, what he said, and what the artisan said, it was something similar. It's just that they couldn't get each other. How they were, yeah.
So the one was saying it in a different way,
yeah.
But it's coming back to the same
exactly. Thing. So that's what I see that's what I've learned. Most of the time, we all have the same common goal, but we have different ways to go about it. So if I say, don't climb on this ladder because you see the fruit is there already, I must not chop you because I'm going to use a rope or I'm going to use a chopper to get there. No, I must not do that. So that's what I've learned from them. From then, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to jump to a conversation where it's heated because I want to show the superiorness from my side, or I want to show the power. You just need to find a way to integrate the two. See what's happening. Because find out those people, most of the time, they want to go to the same direction. But for some reason, someone decided to say, I know this side, there's a river, and I'm thirsty, I need to start from there. And then someone say, no, that side, there's a mountain, I want to sit there and look at the scenery first before I go there. So, yeah, for me, I think that's how
I think I like the scenario that you just painted.
Yeah.
The one question that I have, maybe as a final follow-up on the thing is, how important is it to know your work? Whether it be you're an engineer, CEO, like you said, those hierarchies. How important is it for you to know your work, and not necessarily your work only, but also the artisan's work? How does that help you in your career?
Yeah. So that's a good question. Yeah. 90% of the time, if you I don't know if I would say if you are from university, because you can come from University of Technikon, you can come from college, then you have your universities. From university, from your BSc, I think BEng as well, the system, how I think, that's my opinion, how I think is created is you've got your critical thinkers, people who studied the theory. I would say maybe, I don't want to put a percentage of it, but maybe most of the time they deal with the theory. They deal with if I were to use, I'm just trying to find an example here. But, okay, maybe I'll get something along the line.
Okay.
So, because they come from a university background, they've done the BSc or a BEng, they dealt with the theory more than the practical. When you go to an industry, you're most likely to be placed in a position whereby you don't go to the floor to actually do the actual work or be in a hands-on situation. Whereas a person who come from University of Technikon or technology, you have a chance of starting from the floor, doing what the artisans or the technicians or the boilermakers do. It might not be for that long, but at least see how they do their prep works, how they set up a welding machine, for instance. Basically, the dynamics of something to be created from the start to the finish. So, I don't know if I'm still in the same question or now I'm deviating. So, knowing your work, it starts from the bottom. To be honest with you, you can research as much as you can, but it's easier if you
know the practical side.
Yes, you go there, you try and fix this, and then something breaks, and then you see, hey, now what plan can I make? You understand? You try to fix that, and something leaks here, something leak here, and then you close that leak there, something opens up. Then you know that, okay, so if I close this side and I tighten too much this, something open up from that side or something breaks. Then now, when you are in that top position or in that managerial position, you know exactly what that guy is feeling or what that guy is telling when he's saying, we can't finish this job now. But if you've never been there, remember you are in theoretical mind, or you are paid to be in that critical.
It's an ideal world.
Yes, it's an ideal work. For you, everything is vacuumed. Nothing is from the external, or nothing is experienced the external forces. It's good because they taught you the critical way. Because that guy who's been doing that particular item or that particular job, maybe they've been doing it in a certain way that every time when something happens, they don't think that, hey, what if we try this way? But you, because you've been taught that critical thinking, then you say, hey, how about we try this way? But, because I'm trying to make sure that I don't discredit any of these university or university of technicon. So I just want to answer that question, how important it is to know
your work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So also from there, you need to be able to integrate it too. If you know that you're up there, it's difficult for you to go down on the floor to start mending or trying to fix things, because you know that it's that's not your specialty. But if you go there, you spend maybe every day 2-3 hours with the guys. Not to spy on them and say, okay, now I see you work like this, I'm going to get you when I'm up there. Because you can't tell me what's not right, or else I saw you doing it before. But at least for them to give you an insight. To say, look, this is how we go about this job. First and foremost, we fetch these items, or we look for these bolts and nuts. We don't normally get them in this order or in this manner. We have to look for them. So that's time consumed from their side. You understand? And then you already picture yourself trying to find different sizes of bolts, for instance. If there's no system, or even if there is a system, that person needs to start from there. Secondly, now they need to search for an actual item or that particular, let's say, for instance, they're going to build a pump or you're going to assemble a pump. That's the right way to assemble a pump. So you're going to look for your bolts and nut, and you're going to look for your gaskets and stuff. So these are all prep work. Before you need to do the actual assembly. But if you don't know, you're up there, you will be thinking, why this person is taking so much time? They just need to put this thing together.
Yeah.
But you don't know that person needs to look at this, they need to grease, they need to find the right spec of impellers, for instance. Until you go to the floor and speak to the person and say, what do you normally do? What normally becomes a problem when you do that. And then tell you, others, they can hide information because they know where you're going to be situated, or where you placed. So it might become a problem for them because they know that, hey, this person is going to be on our case everywhere, every time when we tell him everything. So we need to leave that room of for him to try to figure out what's happening. But if you've got people who are genuinely trying to teach you, they can teach you, and then you understand that job. Then when you are in a position where now you manage them, then it's easy for you to say, you know what, I understand, gents, we normally face this problem, but let's see, or let's try to find other ways. Because that person will tell you, I've tried this, I've tried that. And because you've been there before, you've seen it, you'll say, hey, but with all these scenarios that you've already placed, how about we try this one? Then it makes sense, and then you all agreeing on in the same, or you're agreeing, or sometimes you disagree, but you end up agreeing, to do the job. So it is very important to know, I would say maybe even if it's just 80% of what you're doing, because someone is carrying other percentages in different departments, then they're the ones that are going to make it to be 100% from your side. Because if you know everything, it's also a problem.
Okay.
Yeah. So you must not know everything. You must, you must not know everything. You must leave that era.
I think with that, I like how you just explained it on that, which I agree as well, because we, as electrical engineer, we go through the same thing, that you cannot be a very good consulting engineer without knowing how the contractors are actually going to be putting the cables in whatever you're designing, right? So it's very much important for you, as when you're when you're designing your stuff, you need to know from what the contractor is going to do.
Yeah.
In your case, it's an artisan or a boiler maker or whoever that's going to do the actual work.
Yeah.
Because you are designing, you are thinking of how to make this thing work.
Yeah.
So I like to agree with that it's very much important to learn from how the work is done.
Yeah.
Then as you grow and climb up the ladder, corporate ladder, at least you know how things are done.
At least, yeah. I mean, hence I'm saying you're not going to know everything. You might know the design side of the thing, but the installation of the things is known by the people who are doing it.
Definitely.
So if the two integrate, then you have a good product.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then maybe this will be just as we're rounding up, right? The things that you were explaining earlier on, right, is it was both in-service training and your current work, right? What is it that you like the most about your current work? And maybe just like if you have to explain, just explain further, like, okay, this is what I like, this is what I'm doing, and just to have someone who's listen to this and say that I want to be a mechanical engineer, and this is what they're expecting to be doing if they go into the oil and gas.
These questions now, they becoming tougher and tougher.
Sure.
What do I like about my work? I'll say first and foremost, you go to a job because you want to enhance your. I would say the starting point is financial. You want to be financially stable. Then I don't want to say secondly because you like the job, but I want to put it in a manner where it's 50-50. Because end of the day, you need to be able to buy grocery. You need to be able to live.
Yeah.
Or else you like the job. Because you can like the job, but you are unable to afford, then something is not balancing there.
Sure.
So you want to like the job, but you also want to like the offer that the job brings. So what I like about my job, I think it's the interaction with the people. I'm not isolated or in an environment whereby I'm gonna have to sit in an office, and then after 2 or 3 days, then I go out and then I see what's happening. No, I'm constantly interacting with the people on the floor, and I learn a lot from the people on the floor. I would say because the industry, you might think you know it all, but you find that you don't really know anything. Eh? You don't, because what you know is what you know. But there's someone who's gonna teach you something new every day. So for me, I'm in a state or in a situation or in a position where I told myself that I want to feel as if I don't know anything, so that the person on the floor will give me everything. Because if I go out there as if I know everything, the person there on the floor will hold everything. And then what happens if I really need to learn? Because I must make sure that I learn every day. The experience that you get today, you might not use it to where you are going, but you might integrate it to something similar to where you're going. So if you're fixing a car, then you go to another industry where they fix airplanes, for instance. These are not the same environment, but what you learned on that car might come in handy on that airplane. So for me, what I learn a lot, or what I'm learning currently, is interacting with the people on the floor, and also people who are in a higher position than where I am or where I'm at. They, with the experience that they bring on the table, you, as I said in the beginning, that not in the beginning, that the industry is so vast. So when you're there now, you are dealing with the people who are designing the item, right? Now I'm in a space where I'm manufacturing the item, installation and assembly. Because of that, and then you have other people who are fabricating. So you've got drafting, you've got manufacturing, you've got welding, which is part of the fabrication. And now you are learning all the other trades that you're not learning before. Remember now, you know maybe welding, for instance. Someone brings the design. Someone now brings the manufacturing of the thing. So the one who's designing, because it's a perfect world for him, he's drawing this thing. He's drawing this item, and it's going to be placed on a flat surface, for instance, because it's a perfect world for him. There's no weather conditions. But when you are building this thing, or when you are fabricating this, you find that you are fabricating in an environment where there's the floor is not even, for instance. So you need to find ways to make the floor even so that you can place this item.
Yeah. So
that's where these experiences, and this is just something simple so that everyone can understand what I'm talking about. You design this in a perfect world. You find that when you're trying to install it, doesn't fit the way you thought because of the configuration, where it's going to be placed. Now you find that it needs to be downsized, or it needs to be increased so that it can fit to where it's going. Because you do these dimensions and they make sense for you, but when you're going to install it, there's problems there. So the experience or the knowledge that I'm gaining currently is that you get this item, you need to quickly think where it's going. So if someone is designing, you need to make up your mind. While he's still designing, you need to be able to see or picture where this thing is going to be fitted or where it's going to be installed.
Yeah.
sometimes you don't really get the picture because other equipments, you don't know exactly what is this equipment is and where is it going to be fitted. I mean, if you've never worked with cars, if you see a camshaft or a crankshaft, for instance, you just see a shaft, but you don't know where this thing is going to be fitted. But if you kind of try to invest and try to find out as much as possible where this is going to be fitted, then you most likely to know that, okay, now there's going to be piston rods, there's going to be that, there's going to be that. So how's this going to be working? Where is it going to be fitted? And then you know, okay, so this is going to be fitted in an engine. What are the dimensions of the engine? Try to, as much as you can. It's not always possible because, I mean, you cannot know all the components in a car. But with this scenario, I'm trying to say something is being designed. Try to see how it's going to be welded, how it's going to be installed. That's the experience.
Yeah, I think I like that on the idea of what you enjoy the most is working with people.
Yeah.
Because, like you're saying, I think the thing is learning. Always learning.
Yeah.
Because I remember my managers that always tell me that engineering it's a learning environment.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we can be thrown in with a project which not many of us have done that and you have to now go back to YouTube channels. You have to go to articles just to find out how do they design it. And when you spec it, you must make sure that it's actually spec'd correctly.
Yeah.
And I like how you said it. It was very informative. And I think maybe the last question, maybe just to round up our conversation, right? The levels of growth, but I think you might have touched on it, right? Which terms of as a mechanical engineer, you started as a technician, and what I know there's other artisans under that. And then what is the career path looking like if you were to project yourself in a sense?
So you want to know what I'm gonna be doing in 5 years from now?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. This is just an interview, but I see what you mean.
Yeah, but I think the reason why I'm asking these questions is it allows someone who's going to start and understand, okay, this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be dealing with how to work with people. There's going to be an older person. And I think that's why I said that I'm just loving how you're explaining everything because it paints a very good picture for someone who's going to get into the environment. And the reason why I'm asking this last question is I want someone to understand that because sometimes, when you go to work, you're like, there's no growth in that company. You understand what I mean? Yeah. So what are the growth opportunities for you in that environment, your work environment?
Look, so I want to touch also on what you said, that you go to an industry or a company where you feel like there's no growth.
Sure.
So yes, that do happen. I don't want someone who's going to be starting in a company and then now they think they heard me saying there's always a growth. No, you can find a company where the hierarchy is designed to be you are either on the floor or you can't be in the middle. You're gonna be on the floor or you're gonna be up there. So there's a gap, and that gap, it's a gap that no one is gonna be able to be filled. It's either maybe due to the company size at some point.
They take you to school.
Yes. So the company size, like let's say for instance, there's only 10 people, for instance, in that company. What are departments that can be created or can be made from that company? It's only few.
Sure.
So your growth there, depending also how you wanna see yourself in the future, it can be minimal.
So which means probably the growth will be going to a different company and learn how the other companies do stuff, I guess.
So also, I'm gonna say this, comparing the two. Let's say now, the company size. That's what I was saying. You can go to a company where it's 10 people, but they created the or the hierarchy, the way it's or the methodology, that's how they do things. It's placed in such a way that you can start from the bottom and then you climb all the way up there, even if it's just 10 people. And it can be vice versa, where you have a company where there's like 2,000 employees, but you can be placed in that department and then you're stuck. You understand?
Sure.
Then now, same time, you have a company that is has 2,000 employees, and then you are able to climb the ladder from floor all the way up there. So you see now, you've got a small size company that's 10 people, and you are placed there and you're stuck. And you have a company with 2,000 employees and you're placed there and you're stuck.
Yeah.
Or else on the other side, on the high side, you've got a small company and then you make your way up. Similarly to the 2,000 employees, you get there, you make your way up. So what I'm going at with this is, if you really feel like there's no growth, learn as much as possible and then find another job where you see that at least where you're destined, it's at least going to help you. You see? So, yeah.
I think I like that. It's so true that and I like the way that you broke it down, that there's two scenarios and you can do them vice versa. And it's about, because at the end of the day, we are trying to be productive, and also we're trying to feed our families as well. So you want to make progress. I guess it's part of our nature, just human beings.
You need to make progress.
We love progress. You don't like being in one place.
Yeah.
As someone once said, stagnation. Stagnation is proof that there is death. So everything that's alive, it's moving. You understand what I mean? So I guess it's part of what we are as human beings, that we want to always progress and make improvement in our work or in our lives. Thank you so much for that, Nathi. It was really nice having this conversation with you. And I just love how you just explain. I really loved how you were explaining stuff. And maybe our last question would be, I want you to just encourage someone who's listening to this, and just say something that can encourage someone who's listening to this. And
so someone who wants to go to to university and study.
Yeah, I mean, anything that you feel like it can be encouraging. Yeah.
No. All right. I mean, look. I'll say it's not always a easy journey, man. It's people we're all different. Our journeys are all destined differently. You can have a bumpy road. You can have a nice straight to the point road. So if you are one of those who it's a straight to the point route or destiny, good for you. And also for the person who want to study and be in a position where they always wanted to be at. If that road still has potholes, it has speed humps, traffic lights, gravel, I would say you must always embrace it, man. Because those are the things that make you tougher at the end of the day. I don't want to say the people who have the straightforward destiny, when they're up there and then they face those challenges, they don't really know how to resolve because they've never been in the bumpy road in the first place. I don't want to say that, but I think at some point you need to have that bumpy road so to scratch you nicely. And then when you're there, you say, yeah, you know what, I'm good. I was refined and I was cooked. Yeah. So yeah, if there's someone who's there, want to study or they're in that journey already, currently at the tertiary, and they see that they are failing too much. Don't drop the ball, man. Yeah, no, keep on thriving. You'll never know. Even if you feel like, see now, it's I'm tired. Nah, don't throw out the towel. Because you're gonna tell stories after all when it's done. So yeah.
I guess we all need scars. Scars tells big stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Nathi. This was very nice. I really enjoyed podcasting. Definitely, you coming back.
Yeah, see, if you gave me questions and then I prepped, I was gonna kill this podcast. So now I have to think out of the
yeah. No worries, but we'll chat about it. But yeah, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for listening. Have a wonderful day. Good day, good night. See you on the next episode.